Welcome everyone to the Green Chemistry Education webinar series by the Green Chemistry Commitment. My name is Amy Cannon. I'm the Executive Director of Beyond Benign, a nonprofit organization dedicated to green chemistry education. This webinar series is designed to highlight relevant topics in green chemistry education for faculty and students. Our goal is to provide resources for faculty and students who are looking to adopt green chemistry in their courses and programs. And we're excited today to be partnering with NESSE, who you're going to hear a lot more about. So before I begin, I'll give you a little bit of technical information about the webinar. We are broadcasting live and recording this session. Therefore, all attendees are in listen-only mode and all lines are muted. So if you have a question, then please type it into the question chat box on your control panel for the moderators to view. We will respond to as many questions as we can after the panel presentation. Again, the webinar is being recorded, and recordings will be posted on the link that you see here on the screen and also in the welcome box. And any supporting documents, such as the presentation slides, will also be posted on that link as well. The webinar is being brought to you as part of the Green Chemistry Commitment Program, which is a consortium program aimed at transforming chemistry education, expanding the community of green chemistry practitioners, growing departmental resources for those looking to adopt green chemistry, improving connections to industry, and affecting systemic change in chemistry education. The program is a voluntary, flexible program for adopting green chemistry student learning objectives and for promoting the work that you're currently doing at your institution that can serve as models for other institutions to get involved with green chemistry. So you can find more information on our website here, and also you can email me directly. As part of the webinar series, we're giving away a green chemistry book at the conclusion of each webinar. So we will announce the randomly selected winner from our list of attendees at the end of the webinar, and we will send the textbook directly to you. So the winner will receive an email from us requesting your contact information immediately following the webinar. All right, so now I'm excited to introduce our panel. So this panel will feature presentations by 3 young professionals who are leading green chemistry initiatives that have been championed by students. So we're first going to hear about NESSE, which from Anna Ivanova, and then we'll hear about 2 different approaches that students have taken to grow green chemistry at their own academic institutions and beyond. The panel will feature Anna Ivanova, the Communications Director at NESSE, Laura Hawk, co-chair of the Green Chemistry Initiative at the University of Toronto, and Julia Pajola, founder and chair of the GreenSTEMS initiative at the University of York. So I'll start by introducing Anna, and then I'm going to hand the controls over to you, Anna, as I'm introducing you as well. Anna Ivanova is a green chemistry, is a green chemist at the Green Chemistry and Commerce Council, where she works to advance the adoption of green chemistry in industry. She is also the Communications Director for NESSE, the network of early career sustainable scientists and engineers. NESSE aims to connect early career researchers who are passionate about sustainability and provide them with a supportive, inspirational community and resources for advancing their careers. You can read more about it on their website, which I'll post in the chat box. Okay, take it away, Anna.
Thanks, Amy. I'm really excited to be here today talking to you all about NESSE, the Network of Early Career Sustainable Scientists and Engineers. So let me just start off by introducing NESSE. We're an international network of scientists and engineers in the early stages of their careers, and we all share a common goal of applying science and technology to move together towards a sustainable future. As you can see on this map, we've got members from all around the world, and they range from undergraduate students to graduate students, postdocs, and even professionals who are just beginning their careers. At NESSE, we envision a prosperous and sustainable future for everyone, facilitated by collaborative and green approaches to science and technology. We want to put tools in the hands of a new generation of interdisciplinary scientists and engineers who will work to achieve that future. So we're moving towards this future with 6 primary goals. First, we want to build an interdisciplinary community of connected researchers who share our passion for sustainability. We also want to enable sustainable research goals and practices, shape education worldwide to push future generations in the right direction, share ideas and inspire each other, train leaders who can motivate other scientists towards sustainability, and promote advocacy to spread our ideas to policymakers. NESSE has various projects and programs that help us move towards our goals, and I'm just going to briefly talk about a few of those. So first off, I'm going to talk about our mentorship program, and this is something we're very proud of. It's a program that offers guidance to early career researchers from more experienced mentors in relevant fields. So we have mentors from academia, industry, government, nonprofit, and even entrepreneurial spheres. Every sector is represented. We also span many fields of research in our mentorship program, so every student will be able to find a mentor that matches their interests. And the program is flexible and customizable. It lets mentors and mentees determine how they want their interactions to take place. So that could be email, phone, Skype, or even in person if they happen to live close to each other. They can also choose the frequency and duration of the mentorship, which lets mentees ask for quick advice, maybe 1 or 2 week duration on a current problem, or establish a longer relationship if they'd like to do that. And our mentors are all volunteers who enjoy helping beginning researchers and helping them find their path, which makes it a rewarding experience for everyone. So you can follow the link here or just go to our website at sustainablescientists.org if you're interested in volunteering either as a mentor or a mentee. So in terms of education, NESSE has partnered with some organizations that are doing great work in sustainable education and advocacy. Right now we have this ongoing short course from Engineers for a Sustainable World and the Institute for New Economic Thinking, and it introduces concepts of ecological economics to scientists and engineers from all disciplines. We also recently did a webinar with the GC3, the Green Chemistry and Commerce Council, on careers in industry and green chemistry, which is great for students as well. So you can find that on the Green Chemistry and Commerce Council's website. And we're planning more webinars like this one and like our past webinars in the coming year. And also in the coming year, you can actually meet us in person because we'll have members attending 2 green chemistry conferences this summer. First, there's the International Symposium on Green Chemistry, which is in France. So that's a very fun destination, and also we anticipate it'll be a great conference around green chemistry, and that's May 3rd through 7th, 2015. So there's still time to register for that. And the ACS GCI is holding their annual Green Chemistry and Engineering Conference on July 14th to 16th of this year in Bethesda, Maryland. So we're also going to be there, and we hope to meet and talk to some like-minded students. So as an international network, NESSE has a large web-based component because we can't all meet in person all the time. So our website has a blog with posts highlighting cool green research and profiling well-known green scientists as well as other topics. So you're welcome to check that out if you're ever looking for something to read. We also have a Facebook page which provides a home for discussions about green science news and concepts. So if you're the only student at your school that's interested in green science, you can come discuss it with like-minded students at our Facebook page. And our Twitter also provides updates on NESSE happenings and new sustainable research. So we like to highlight other organizations and other blogs and articles that we find interesting. And finally, and most relevantly, NESSE is very proud of its student groups. We have these local communities of passionate students at schools around the world, and it's amazing the community that we have, because when schools lack green science initiatives and students can't find a way to express their passion for green science, they end up creating their own initiatives. And these range from discipline-specific groups, such as the Green Chemistry Initiative at Toronto, to interdisciplinary groups like GreenSTEMS at York, which aim to just spread sustainability in all fields of science. So you'll hear from both of those shortly. But we also have web-based resources on our website for building a new group. So if you find yourself in the same situation of being passionate about green science but not having a way to pursue that or learn about it, you can actually visit our website and read about tips for starting your own group from students who have done it themselves. And we also provide personal advice and assistance from our student group founders who are very passionate about helping other people do the same thing that they've had success with. So you can get personal, informal mentorship from our group founders as well by reaching out to us. So that's just a brief introduction to NESSE, and I'll be back later, but for now I'm going to hand over to Amy so you can hear from two of our active student groups.
Great. Thanks so much, Anna. That was a great introduction to NESSE. So now I'm going to hand it over to Laura Hawk, and I'm going to briefly introduce her as well. Laura's a PhD student in materials chemistry at the University of Toronto, working to develop heterogeneous photocatalysts for the conversion of carbon dioxide into sustainable fuels. She's the co-founder of the University of Toronto Green Chemistry Initiative, also GCI, a student-run organization established in 2012, which promotes green chemistry and sustainable laboratory practices within the department. She's currently the co-chair of the GCI, working with over 25 student members who run numerous educational and outreach events. She's also actively involved in NESSE, which you just heard about. She's currently serving as both the Secretary and Sustainable Science Group's coordinator for NESSE, working with student groups from around the world to support them in their mission to promote sustainable science in the local communities. So I'll hand it over to Laura.
Hi, Amy. Thank you very much for that introduction. So I'm here to tell you guys today about the Green Chemistry Initiative, which is a student group that we started at the University of Toronto to promote green and sustainable practices within our department. So first I want to start out by giving you guys a bit of context. So at the University of Toronto, we have a very large research-focused chemistry department with over 50 faculty members and 300 plus graduate students and postdocs. Despite this really large size of our department, we're really lucky that we have a very excellent sense of community that encourages student initiatives and involvement, such as the Green Chemistry Initiative. We also are really lucky that we have a very great undergraduate teaching faculty that are very enthusiastic about green chemistry, and this has resulted in a lot of really great green chemistry content within the undergraduate curriculum. However, unfortunately, there really was no formal green chemistry education available for graduate students and postdocs. And this is something that affected me personally. I became a chemist because I wanted to have a positive impact on the environment. And I didn't really have any exposure to green chemistry as an undergraduate, and I didn't really even hear about it until I was in my second year of my PhD. And when I did hear about it, it's something I wanted to learn more about and figure out how to apply it to my research, but I didn't really know where to start. And so I started talking to other people at the University of Toronto within the chemistry department, and I realized that I wasn't the only one that felt this way, and there were a lot of other people that had this interest, and so we thought maybe by working together we would be able to teach ourselves and our department more about green chemistry. So in the fall of 2012, myself and 10 other graduate students and one postdoc founded the Green Chemistry Initiative to try to address this gap that we felt existed within green chemistry education. And the primary goals of our organization are to create green chemistry learning opportunities within the department and for related disciplines, promote sustainable lab practices, and decrease the environmental impact of our research. Since this time, now we've been around for about 3 years, and we've grown to now 25 members. And the way we accomplish our goals is through our projects, which we divide up into 3 main focus areas. So educational initiatives, resource development and sharing, and community engagement. And unfortunately, I won't have time to talk about everything here. But we do have quite a lot of resources available on our website, so if you are interested in any of these things, please do check us out. We're very happy to help. And for those of you out there that are interested in starting your own group, please don't be overwhelmed by the number of things that are on this list. So when we first started out, we really focused on these first 3 initiatives, which are still our core initiatives today. And one thing that's really, really great about our student group is that as new members started to join and they had these personal projects that they were really interested in, that's something they could bring to the committee, and that we could all help each other out and help them get it off the ground. And so that's what a lot of these things are, and that's how they came about. And it's really through our members' hard work that we're able to make all of these things happen. So the first thing that I'm going to talk to you today about is our Green Chemistry Seminar Series, which, as I mentioned, is one of the first initiatives that we really started to focus on. And the goals of this initiative are to bring in experts to teach us about various aspects of green chemistry. And one of the best things about being in charge of this and running your own seminar series is that you really can learn about whatever you want. So if you want to learn more about toxicology, you can invite a toxicologist to come and give a lecture. Or if you want to learn more about green materials chemistry, you can invite someone to teach you about that. And because this is a student-run seminar series, we really do try to focus on bringing in different viewpoints outside of the more traditional academic lectures that we get all the time here. So of course we still do invite professors from various academic disciplines who publish work in green chemistry, but we do also try to reach out to people from industry and from governmental organizations to bring in these non-traditional viewpoints. Another initiative that is, again, one of our core initiatives is the Green Chemistry Trivia Challenge. So as I mentioned, there's this really great sense of community within our department, and so every week we have the chemistry club provides weekly either free donuts or bread and coffee, and obviously a lot of people come because as graduate students, if there's free food, you will definitely get people showing up. And so we asked the chemistry club if we could come and hand out trivia ballots at these events because we thought this was a really great opportunity with people congregated to actually try to promote some green chemistry education. And so what we do is we hand out short questions to people while they are hanging out and eating their donuts, and we try to make sure that they're about relevant topics that would be useful to these members. And then we collect the ballots at the end, and the correct ballots are kept for a gift card prize draw. And then we email, and then we give out coffee cards and that kind of stuff. But the other thing that we do is we email the answer to the entire department afterwards with an explanation and links to relevant resources. And so even if people are not able to attend the event, they still do get the information, and it's right there in their inbox if they want to click and link to a paper or a blog post from the Nexus newsletter or something, they can. And so really the goals of this initiative are to just keep people thinking about green chemistry and to promote discussion about green chemistry and really to provide useful information a little bit at a time so that people can actually kind of take it to heart and actually use it. So this is an example of the type of trivia questions that we do. So I'll just read it to you really quickly. So the American Chemical Society recommends the use of isopropanol instead of acetone in preparing low-temperature dry ice baths. Which of the following properties is the main advantage that isopropanol has over acetone for this purpose? And so the options are lower viscosity, lower volatility, non-flammability, and higher miscibility with water. And so the answer is B, lower volatility. But the reason that this question I really like is because, the first sentence here, this is a suggestion of how someone can be greener. So use isopropanol instead of acetone. And then the second part is actually trying to get people to think about how chemical properties affect why something may or may not be green or how something might be greener than something else. And so it really does, we do try to really promote discussion while also trying to promote, here's something specific that you can do. And so then the last one of our very core initiatives is our annual workshop and symposium, which is our biggest event of the year. So our very first, our inaugural workshop was in 2013, and we called it Future Leaders in Green Chemistry. We kept it kind of small because it was our first event, so we had it just for within our department. We had 25 participants, and we were lucky enough to have Dr. John Warner come out and be our keynote lecturer, give our keynote lecture for the workshop. So this was a 2-day event, and we partnered with 3 other local professors here, Dr. Effie Sauer, Dr. Eddie Dix, and Dr. John Andros, to talk about solvent selection, green metrics, and life cycle analysis. And then at the end, on the second day, we challenged participants to use what they had learned in the previous 2 days and apply it to their own research and put forth proposals on how they could actually take what they were already doing in the lab and making it greener. Building on the success of the first workshop, we, in the 2014 workshop, we called it Next Steps in Green Chemistry Research. And this was really intended to be a follow-up to say, okay, so now you know about green chemistry, now you know the basics, what's next? And so we had over 70 participants come from all over North America, and we really dug deeply into topics such as toxicology and environmental fate and green process chemistry. And we had representatives from both faculty members who gave kind of more lecture style presentations, and then we also had members from industry come and talk about how these concepts are applied, and how chemists work with toxicologists, for example, at Dow to make sure that their products are safe. And we had someone from Merck come and talk about green process chemistry. And then we also invited people from various disciplines to give discipline-specific examples, such as green materials chemistry or base metal catalysis. And so it was a very, very successful event. And so this year we're having our third workshop, which we call Green Chemistry Applied within industry. And this is really designed to give students an inside perspective on how green chemistry is used in industry. And so we'll have 14 presentations by industry leaders, a panel discussion on future directions in green chemistry, and a poster and networking event, as well as a crash course in green chemistry if you feel like you need to brush up on the basics. So the link is here. Registration is open. If you're interested in coming, we would love to have you. So apart from these three sort of core initiatives that I talked about, another thing that we're very passionate about is providing green chemistry resources. And so one of the ways that we do this is through our website resources section. And the goal of this is really just to try to gather information that is helpful to graduate student researchers. So on our website we have, we've sort of put together links to solvent selection guides, process evaluation tools, links to similar organizations, and we've tried to make it something that is really focused on, okay, someone's in the lab and actually doing work, what kind of tools are out there, what do they need, and we actually have a member of our organization that's dedicated to maintaining this section. Another thing that we do is we also do some original content generation, and so this is an example of something that we developed as part of last year's workshop. So this is a top 10 list of simple techniques to make everyday lab work greener, and this is, so it's basically the low-hanging fruit. This is the easiest things that you can do that would require no or very little change to your already existing reaction conditions, and this is on our website as a PDF. If you're interested, you're welcome to download it and hang it in your lab if you think it's useful. So another thing that, another educational resource that we're really interested, that we've been working on for about a year now, is this 12 Principles in Green Chemistry video series. So the goals of this are really to illustrate and give context to the 12 principles of green chemistry and really provide a fun way for people to learn the basics. Our target audience is sort of high school level and the general public. And it's really just dedicated to trying to give some context to how the principles can be applied. And we hope that people will find it useful if they're interested in learning about it. And we also hope that maybe this is a resource that teachers could use if they want to talk about green chemistry in their class, but they don't have time to develop their own video. So the last thing that I'm going to talk about today is community outreach. So we do this through, we actually do some demonstrations within the community through partnering with several organizations. And so the one I'm going to talk about today is our partnership with Science Rendezvous, which is an annual Canada-wide event that engages kids and their families by doing really fun and active science demonstrations. So this basically takes over the University of Toronto for a day, and there's over 30 demonstrations in the chemistry department alone. A lot of the main streets are closed. There's people doing physics demonstrations, and we have biology and med-sci and engineering, and it's really, really fun event. And so we run a green chemistry booth as part of that. And actually here we're doing the Beyond Benigns BlackBerry solar cell demonstration, and it's really fun because you do have all ages. It's families come, so you have like these really little kids that they're mostly really excited about smashing the berries. That's their favorite part, and they don't really care about much else. And then you have the parents that are really interested in learning about the in-depth science. And this bottom picture I love because we had a 10-year-old kid ask me, what happens if we connect them together? And I said, well, I don't know. Okay, why don't we find out? And so I took as many alligator clips as we had, and we connected 4 of these little solar cells in series. And as you can see on the multimeter here, we're generating 2.5 volts of power, which I think is pretty good for handmade solar cells that were made by children. So, so this is something that we really, really do love doing, getting out there and talking to people about green chemistry. So I'd like to finish up by talking about some of the benefits that that I feel like I've gotten out of being part of this student organization. And I think probably the best thing is that it's this self-directed learning, like whatever you're interested in learning about, you can make happen. So if you want to learn more about how renewable energy actually gets into the market, you can invite someone from a renewable energy company talking about how their business strategy works and how they're actually making this happen. And it really is it's a very empowering feeling. Another thing that is really great and that I have found for sure that has been a very big benefit to me is building a really strong network of professional contacts. So I've met a lot of people through the invited speakers that we've had from the seminar series and from the workshop, but I've also met so many people within my department that I never would have met otherwise, and I've made a lot of friends through doing this, and it's been a lot of fun. And I've also gained a lot of valuable experience in things like organizing and running events, fundraising and managing budgets, and communicating ideas effectively. But I think probably the best thing about being part of this organization is that you're really seeing the change that we've had in our department. So 3 years ago, green chemistry wasn't really talked about very much, but now I hear people talking about green chemistry all the time, and it really is just amazing to see that how working together we really have been able to change the conversation about green chemistry within the department, and that's just very rewarding to be part of it. So that I obviously have to thank my amazing team of members. So this is a potluck we had a few months ago, and everybody does so much great work, and I'm really honored to be part of this team. And then I also want to thank our sponsors and supporters, and for those of you out there that are thinking about starting your own groups, I want to just highlight on this slide how I'm continually amazed at how many people are willing to go out of their way to help you if you just ask. And so I think that's just something to keep in mind, that even though it might seem a bit daunting to get started, just start asking people for help and say, I want to do something. This is my idea. How do you think I can make it happen? And they will definitely help you or point you in the right direction. So with that, this is our contact information, and I will turn it back over to Amy.
Great. Thanks so much, Laura. That was really a great overview of what you guys have been doing there up in Toronto. I'll pause on this slide for a bit, but we will post all of these slides on our website, so you can access. You know, if you're scrambling to jot down some of these links, we'll make sure we post them on our website. And so now I'm going to, and I also wanted to mention too that we have some folks that are standing by. So if you would like to tell us about what you're doing, there is folks standing by for a live Twitter chat. So feel free to send a little tweet out there. There's folks standing by that can respond to you, and we'd love to hear about what you're doing. So I put that right in the chat box, some of our Twitter handles down there. So I'm going to turn over to our last panelist, Julia Pajola. I'm going to hand it over to you, Julia, and now I'm going to introduce you really quick. So Julia is currently pursuing a PhD at the University of York, investigating the potential for uptake of green solvents in the pharmaceutical industry, combining process chemistry with supply chain studies and socioeconomic analyses. She's a founder and chair of a multidisciplinary green initiative at the University of York called GreenSTEMS, where she leads a core team of 10 active members working on a number of sustainability-themed projects, from organizing interdisciplinary academic and outreach events to running training programs and advocating for green schemes within the University of York. Julia has also been involved in the development of NESSE, which you heard about, in the role of Network Development Officer, where she has administered the initial setup of the network membership and assisted the creation of partnership with institutions, conference organizers, and local science groups. So we're really happy to have her joining us from the UK.
Thank you, Amy. Hope you can all hear me. Well, I'm very excited to be talking here today together with you, Anna and Laura. And I just love to hear how these initiatives have their own specifics and their own character, and you will see now a lot of similarities from what we do to what Laura just presented, but also some differences, and I'll try and stress those so you can see what we've been doing at York. So I'm just going to start by introducing what's the context and the environment that we have at the University of York. So there is really high-level scientific research going on, and a lot of this is dedicated to developing sustainable solutions and technologies. So there are a lot of centers and organizations at the university that study green technology and green science. So for example, I do my PhD at the Green Chemistry Center of Excellence. So it's a different situation here from what it is at the University of Toronto, for example. Here we have already an education side of green chemistry that is there, and it's very active. But there are a lot of other projects, such as HOPE, for example, that works with health and environment and biology and synthetic biology groups. So, and all of this is together under what is called NESSE, that is like a sort of sustainability institute that connects all these groups and they write proposals together. And however, what we felt is that a lot of, for example, for the academics and for PIs, they have all these connections and they know how this works and they know what groups are there working on sustainability. But from the point of view of students, I didn't really know about these groups before starting with GreenSTEMS, and I think this is true for a lot of other students too. So this is what where we decided to, where we thought to step in. So our main goals are to unite researchers across disciplines who have a common interest in sustainability-related issues, and people who really work to, in their research towards building more sustainable solutions for the future. So another aspect that we work on is taking researchers outside the ivory tower, and for this, by this we mean outside their own department and get to speak outside their own discipline, outside academia as well, so in order to face the public and to face, in other cases, like a more interdisciplinary and more varied sort of background of people. And also we really hope to make a change at the University of York and to have an influence in the sustainability of the university and hopefully improve the sustainability agenda. So something that we've heard quite a lot from, as a sort of feedback from people, is cross-departmental projects, no way of get off the ground. And actually it has proven to be pretty challenging to make people talk when they come from different backgrounds and to conciliate everyone's views. So indeed, we feel we have actually developed some diplomatic skills here, because we really have to understand, you really have to understand the language and the different ways that people have when they come from different disciplines, and because there are some sort of traditions behind each discipline, and you have to respect those and to make sure that the way you address each of them is appropriate. So it's been a very interesting learning process to do so, and we think we actually got people to starting to talk, and so I'm going to now get to the core of this talk and tell you how we think we achieved this. And this is through the projects that we've run. So since we've actually just started less than 1 year ago, we don't have the same variety as University of Toronto, but with some projects we will find some similarities. One thing that we really focused on and we consider the flagship of our project is early career talks. So in these ones we feel are very important for promoting the research going on at York that is actually carried out by early career researchers, most of the times PhD students and postdocs. So they are the ones doing the research, and we feel that it's very important to empower them and to give them the possibility to talk and give them a voice. This has also been very positive for the speakers themselves, because they get experience in talking in a different sort of setup to what they're usually given the possibility to do. And also for us as a group, and it has been great for engaging with people from different departments, because we've decided, for example, a theme for an event, and then we will go and find out who works on that specific topic from different departments and groups, and we'll try and invite those people to come and talk at our events. Secondly, we work on organizing workshops and outreach, and I'll show you some examples in my next slides. But last but not least, we also want to improve the sustainability awareness around the university. So this is in terms of research. So we do science communication, blogging, and we use social media a lot. But also in terms of campaigning and advocating for a sustainability, for more sustainable behavior of students as well as of the university itself as an institution. So I'll show you some examples of what we've been doing, the sort of events we've been organizing in the past year. So this one is a very recent example. We ran this social seminar that we call. This was from last week only. The title of it was Health, You, Me, and the Environment, and we hosted 6 early career researchers who showcased their projects, giving a cross-disciplinary overview around the theme of health. So we had speakers covering the disciplines of chemistry, health sciences, environment, immunology, physics, and biology. And it was great. We really had like a the talks were really spanning across all these disciplines, and they were really brief and not too, like, sort of 10 to 15 minutes, not too much in depth, so everyone could be engaged and could understand what we were talking about. And we, in the end, we had a drinks and pizza session that, as Laura also said, is the best way of getting students to come when there is free food. And it really worked, and it really fueled up the discussion and after the talks, and hopefully we want these sessions to be a way of starting new collaborations and possibly new projects as well. A similar sort of project that we have, it's called Public Dialogues, and we call it Green Reactions. It's similar in a way that we still gather researchers from all around the university and give them the possibility to talk about their research, but in this case to the general public. So we were inspired for this project by a colleague that gave a talk at the University of York, and he's a social scientist, and he's done a lot of research on understanding the public perception of science through focus groups with members of the public. So we thought, hey, it's a great idea. It would be so beneficial if every researcher could do that with his research and understand what people perceive as problems, as concerns, what they think is interesting, and this will really save a lot of issues in the future development of the research, when they might, in order to avoid some misconceptions or misunderstandings of some aspects of the research. So we have now, this is an ongoing project, and we have now 20 students taking part, postdocs, undergraduates, and postgraduates, as you see in the picture. And we invited in, with the funding we won from the Royal Society of Chemistry, we managed to invite in a professional public speaking trainer who actually works also for the TV. He is also seen for Inside Nature's Giants, that is a Channel 4 series here in the UK. And it was a great fun experience. He kind of put us to do some impromptu speaking and to really get out of our comfort zone. And it was an afternoon session. It was like super fun. And now we're at the stage with this project to organizing dialogue events where we will have the public, a number of people from the public, and a group of the researchers will be presenting their research, and then start a discussion to understand what the perceptions are. So building on this, in terms of outreach again, we've done some other activities. One at York Researchers Night that is similar to what Laura was describing, that runs all around Canada, so this runs all around Europe. And we were present with an exhibition where we had biologists, chemists, and environmental scientists talking about the issue of waste, whether it is a resource or just a refuse, and how we can make more use of it. So we have different perspectives on this, and it was really interesting to work together and to see young kids getting excited about all the different sciences that we had there. We also participated just recently at the Science Girl event that was in order to celebrate International Women's Day on the 8th of March. So it was held at the Yorkshire Museum that is in the photo here, and so we met up in the morning to build up all our sticks and balls models of chemicals, as well as our own made version of proteins made of cardboard. It was like great fun to run this event and to be there together with a lot of other scientists who had, and the challenge was that you will have to find a something in the museum that related to your research, and therefore you could, people who were visiting the museum could understand more thanks to your explanations. And we found something that was relevant to plant science and to what we do, and it was amazing. So this is one of the last projects that we've been working on. So this is in collaboration with NESSE, actually. We're organizing this workshop event that will be as a fringe event to a conference that will be in New York this June. The title of the event is Building a Bio-Based Economy for Europe, and it is an early career interdisciplinary workshop where we'll be discussing the big issues related to building a bio-based economy. So the sort of activities that we are planning to do are we will host some TED-style talks in the morning with different perspectives from technology, industry, and policy. We will have some workshops in the afternoon. One of them will be a Green Chemistry 101 and a Biotechnology 101. So different scientists will have the basics in order to understand the following discussion, rather than, so we make sure, as I was saying earlier, that we are all speaking the same language and we have the same sort of understanding to start off from. Then we will have another workshop on commercialization and one on influencing policy, where we invited some speakers who are experts in this and will give us some insights. So we're really excited to and looking forward to this event, and we are now organizing the final phases of the registration. It's going to be really exciting. The other part that we are working on, and we're very keen to get in the universities, more higher sustainability awareness. So we're doing this by blogging regularly on our blog. You can find the address here, and we also do science communication in collaboration with other partners, such as with NESSE itself. So we contributed recently an article by a postdoc in microbiology at the University of York, and we also collaborate with we also are official blog partners of Your Formula, that is a European online magazine of sustainable science. Another project that we have in terms of building awareness and having an impact in the university, we realized how much coffee cups are being disposed in the university and are being wasted, and a member of our group pointed out that we should try and do something about it. So we thought it was a great idea and that we should support it. Therefore, we decided to start a Bring Your Own Mug campaign to urge the university to apply a discount when someone uses a reusable container rather than wasting a disposable coffee cup. So we are now at the stage of developing a business proposal to submit to the university, and we sent out some surveys to understand what's the use that people make of takeaway cups, and we gathered the support from cafeterias and shops on campus to run this project. This is something that is relatively common in some other universities, and I know for sure in the US and in Canada, but here in York we've never come across anything like this, and it's probably a bit less common in Europe to do this. So just to get into the end of this, we feel that we've made a change so far and throughout this year. And one aspect has been, we think we built the basis for an interdisciplinary green community at the University of York. And this has been online with engaging our members and interested people on social media and our website, as well as with engaging the actual participants and active members. We have about 22 active members so far since July, and 6 early career speakers at the event, at the social seminar event, and the 20 participants at the public dialogues. So we think we really made a change for these people in terms of their development and their engagement with the green community. We've also interlinked existing organizations and groups, both internally in terms of department. We realize that at this stage sometimes we get contacted in order to make further contacts with other departments, which is great. So we are actually seen as a sort of platform for sharing resources and networks, which is what we wanted to do. And in terms of external organizations, we're also been partnering with, for example, Pint of Science and Café Scientifique for our events, and with other partners that I mentioned, such as Science Girl, Your Formula, and NESSE itself. We also feel that we've influenced the employability of the participants in terms of developing their skills, but also as a development of confidence in being productive and being able to speak in front of a wide audience and leading projects and contacting speakers, for example, or external suppliers and contacts. And in general, for giving them the confidence to promote their own interests and principles and to develop them further. So if I were to suggest top 5 tips for starting your own group at your university, I would say that first thing, get inspiration and learn from what's already there. For us, for example, meeting with Laura and the Green Chemistry Initiative at Toronto and with people from NESSE, it was a great inspiration, and it really helped us at the very early stages of setting up our group. We've learned that as soon as you start having funding coming in, people start respecting you more and understanding that as you are self-sufficient, they can trust you more. So for us, it was really key at the beginning to start doing some funding applications and having some of our own money for running the projects, and from then starting to making our other contacts. As a general tip, we found that working as a group is the best way to go. At any chance, it's so much more fun than working individually, even on the projects, but also in our own research, for example. So try and build a group and keep it alive and keep it active, and that it's been really exciting for us to get to know so many people all around campus. In general, value as much as possible all the enthusiasm and initiative and contribution from all the members, and in general just have fun. And we hang out at the pub regularly, and we do other activities that are not necessarily projects, and you meet a lot of great people and you make a lot of friends. So in general, it's just a win-win. I just want to thank Beyond Benign for hosting this webinar, and the Green Chemistry Initiative and NESSE for helping us out at the very beginning of our group. And this is the great team that we have here at York of people who have really contributed to making GreenSTEMS what it is now. So thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Julia. That was a great presentation. That was 2 great presentations with 2 different approaches. So I'm going to hand the presentation back over to Anna to wrap us up here. So Anna Ivanova.
Hello again. So thanks, Laura and Julia, for your wonderful presentations. And as you've all heard, U of T, GCI, and York's GreenSTEM initiative are doing great work in education, outreach, and advocacy for sustainable science. And it's really amazing to me to see what students can do when they're applying their passions. So if you'd like to connect with like-minded students in your community and influence your university, NESSE can help you get started with that. So on our website, we have, first of all, a Getting Started guide, which tells you about taking the first steps. Just start talking to people, assemble a team, set some goals, etc. And we also include tips from founders of active groups that are very specific ideas about if you want to do X, you should start by doing Y. And that's very helpful just to see what other people have done and what they've found to be successful. And we also have ideas for group activities. So if you really want people to come join you and learn about green science, but you're not really sure how to get started, just visiting our website and reading our Getting Started guide is probably going to be very helpful. We also have, in addition to our web resources, we offer real-time resources. So we have mentorship from active students who have founded their own student groups or are participating in student groups and have had successful events. So on the right here you see Laura, who you've already met, and Michael, who's at University of California, Berkeley, and he's also very active in student groups and excited to help others who are trying to start a group at their university. Those are our two executive committee members who work with NESSE groups, and we also have other members who are happy to talk to you if you have more specific problems. We can also help with publicity for any web-based events. If you want to host a webinar, NESSE has a large network that we can advertise to for an audience, or if you want to hold joint events, we can connect you with other groups to partner with, or we can publicize them if it's going to be a larger regional event. And finally, what we're very excited about this summer is we're going to be hosting global themed events that will actually connect groups and deepen the sense of community worldwide between our student groups. So if you have your own group and you'd like to connect with us for that, please get in touch and we would be thrilled to hear from you. So if you're interested in what we've talked about on this webinar, but you're not quite ready to start a student group just yet, you can start out by following us on Facebook and Twitter just to see what we're up to, see what webinars we're hosting, etc. And we're always looking for volunteers to help out with any aspect of NESSE that you're interested in. So if you think that you'd really like to meet more people in your community, you can become a local champion. If you would like to join our executive committee and get very deeply involved, we're happy to have you there as well. So just get in touch with us and ask about what you'd like to do, and we can definitely find a place for you to apply your passions and your skills. And if you'd like to find a mentor to advance your career, you can do that through our mentorship program, meet us in person at green conferences, and of course start a student group at your university. So just some links here for you to check out what NESSE is doing. And thank you all for attending today. It was great talking to you.
That's great. Thanks so much, Anna. And thanks, a big thank you to Anna, Laura, and Julia for wonderful presentations and getting us to think more about how students can create change and bring green chemistry to their campuses and beyond. So if you have any questions, write them right into the question box on your control panel. And I do have a couple that I can get us started with here that have come in. One, I think for you, Anna, how do professionals get involved and can become a mentor, and how much of a commitment is it to become a mentor?
That's a great question. So a lot of people would get a little worried saying, I don't have months to dedicate to being a mentor to one specific student holding their hand through everything. But the great thing about our mentorship program is that it's so flexible that even if you have, 2 weeks or 4 weeks where you can schedule one meeting a week with someone, we probably have students who can benefit from that, who are facing a professional challenge right now and would just like some short guidance for it, or maybe they have some basic questions about how to enter, say, the green biology industry, and that's 1 or 2 meetings. Or you can establish a longer relationship with somebody who wants to be connected with you for 6 months or a year. So it's really very flexible, and if you go on our website, then you can choose your level of involvement and give us details about what you're available for, and we'll be sure to pair you with a student who needs somebody for that length of time or that level of commitment.
That's great. Thanks so much. Laura, we have a question for you. I believe you answered this, but is the Green Chemistry Resources site that you mentioned, is that open to the community or is it an internal resource page?
Oh, it's open to everybody. So,
okay, great.
So it's on our website. So our website is greenchemuoft.ca. And we have our resources, there's a resources tab, and we also have basically descriptions of all of the initiatives that we run too, as well as contact information, so if there's something that people need from us, we're happy to help.
Great. And one more follow-up for you, Laura. What has the response been from the faculty at U of T, and have you seen, it sounds like you've seen some change, but have you seen much change is the question.
Yeah, so it's really great. So when we first started, like I said, I mean, I wouldn't say that the reaction was, there wasn't really animosity towards green chemistry. It was mostly just indifference. People were very focused on their own research and very focused on, publishing papers and just the standard academic thing, and green chemistry just wasn't on their radar. And so, we just started by regularly, I think, honestly, the trivia helped us so much that it's just this regular thing that we keep doing, and we're always doing it, and it doesn't take much time. And there were a few faculty members that initially were kind of thought that it was hippie chemistry and why are we doing this? And then I attended a symposium a few months ago, and one of these professors that was initially very skeptical, and a few years ago he mentioned green chemistry in the introduction of his research. So I really do think that we have had an impact, and I think that people are starting to really realize that green chemistry is a serious discipline. So that's pretty awesome.
Great. That's great. That's great. We have a question that just came in here. Are there any external sources of funding for starting a student group at a university? So I guess that's for any of you that might know of this.
I could try to answer that. Well, for us, yeah, I agree. It's not that easy sometimes to find where to find the money. There are some internal sources, for example, in our university. Some of the projects we've run have been funded by an alumni association, so ex-students and what they call Friends of University of York, who've donated their money to student activities. But there are also some external ones. So in Europe, for example, or in the UK, you could apply for things like the Royal Society of Chemistry, or for example, there are other like European sponsors, or depending on what it is, if it's like an outreach event or if it's more technical. But just really just Google and some things will come up. It's the usual thing.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, and I say that if you're in Canada, the CIC, so the Chemical Institute of Canada, provides a lot of funding. We've gotten funding through their chemical education fund, but I would just also urge people to just start asking, like ask a friendly faculty member and say, hey, this is something that I want to do. How do you think I could get funding? And maybe they know someone, or they know of a funding drive that you could apply to.
Yeah, that is a really good advice.
Great. Yeah, and I know from the ACS Green Chemistry Institute right now has some student travel awards on their website. So for any students that have tuned in right now, go to their site, the Green Chemistry Institute at the ACS, and there are some student travel awards. I believe they extended their deadline, so you can at least start to get, participate in the, it's to cover travel to the annual conference this summer. So then you can go meet the NESSE folks there and some of the speakers. So please do check that out. We did have one other question that was related to the question to Laura, but I guess this can also be directed to you, Julia. Do you have support from faculty and administration at your institutions? So I think, Laura, you started to answer that one. So maybe Julia?
Yeah, I'm happy to take it. It really depends. I think in general we do, and we do have a lot of support from the Green Chemistry Center and from, for example, the Environment Department and the Biology Department as well. But it really depends. Like as Laura said, like some people can be a little bit more skeptical. Some others will be extremely excited about what we're doing and wanted to support us in any possible way. We found that in a way sometimes the use of the fact that we have the word green inside our name can lead to some misunderstandings, or sort of, again, as Laura mentioned, sort of like, oh, these are just hippie scientists, and sometimes we have to kind of fight against that preconception. But on the other hand, that having the word green inside the name makes it easier for people to understand what we are about, and makes it easier for the interested people to get in touch with us. So it's really a balance.
That's great.
I would also just add, unlike York, we don't really have a focus on green chemistry or sustainability here at the University of Toronto, but, and it's not like people are against it either. But when we first started out, we were kind of worried that people wouldn't support us. But our department has been amazing. They were the ones that gave us our initial funding to run the seminar series, and it was really easy. I just asked the associate chair of the department, and he said, sure, write us a proposal, I will give you money. And it was literally that easy. So the department has been really, really supportive of us. So even if it seems like your department isn't that supportive or engaged in green chemistry, that doesn't mean that they won't help you.
Mm-hmm.
So give it a shot.
Exactly.
That's great. Yep. Well, fantastic. This has been so great. Thanks. A huge thank you to Anna, Laura, and Julia. Just truly inspirational what you all have been doing. So fantastic work. Keep it up. Hopefully you're inspiring more students to get involved, because students really can impact and create tremendous change. So with that, we're closing in, or just after the hour. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please check out our next webinar in a couple weeks. It's another student focus. This is coming from the Green Chemistry Institute, so they'll talk about their student chapters here in the U.S., the program, with two examples from Gordon College and the University of Puerto Rico as some models for the Green Chemistry Student Chapter Program. And again, tune in and you can find more information about our webinar series on the link below, and this recording will be posted by the end of the day along with supporting documents. So feel free to tune in there and point anyone who missed it towards that. So thanks so much again to our panelists, and thank you for tuning in.